Welcome, one and all, whoever may be watching this. This is obviously Torment, Tides of Numenéra. I wasn't actually planning on playing this game right here and right now. There was another game that's just come out that I was originally going to do a playthrough of. But I got through an hour of that game and sort of decided that I'm probably not the right person to do a playthrough of this game. It was fun and I was kind of enjoying it for the most part, but I wasn't sure if it was actually going to be a fulfilling story. And then it just really wasn't my kind of game. So anyways, I decided we'll shelve that. And yeah, I had this in my Steam library. I was going to play it sort of later in the year, but I guess now I've got a little bit of free time between now and the next game that I want to check out. So here we are. I do just want to go through and change up some options. Mostly to do with sound. I always forget when it comes to playthroughs that I should turn the music volume down. I forget all the time, so hopefully that's done and dusted. I want to see if there's also subtitles. Okay, doesn't look like there's subtitles. Cool, let's roll with it. Never played this game before, no clue what it's about or anything along those lines. Just jumping into it.
Your mind wakes in darkness. Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you. Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important, as if it once meant the world to you, but the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open.
I'ma look around.
A white-pink fleshy cocoon surrounds you. Even as you look, a minor rent in its side tears open, and the howling wind forces its way inside. The cocoon rips away, gone before you can grab it, spinning you into a dizzying tumble. You are falling, the world many kilometers beneath you. You catch a glimpse of a curved horizon, and also the ground beneath you that is approaching deceptively quickly. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in upon itself. A corona of acid green and black energy playing around its edges. The wind buffets you and burns your eyes, but you don't need to see the details of the faraway ground to know you're in serious trouble. You won't survive a fall from this stratospheric height. A part of your frantic mind babbles that technically you probably fell from a thermospheric height. You struggle to stay focused as the ground rushes toward you. Instinctively, you spread your arms and legs, and they respond sluggishly. You stop tumbling head over heels. Though you are still spinning laterally, that motion has calmed as well, and you have space to assess your situation, and perhaps to understand the predicament and the body in which you find yourself. Below you, you see a large landmass. A massive ocean dominates the rest of the visible globe, dotted here and there with island chains. Small moons, unusual structures, and strange machines rush past you in glittering profusion as you plummet toward the ground. Now you see that this appears to be a huge megacontinent, the only land of any size on this side of the world at least. Great inland seas and lakes dot the land, and curiously, regular mountain ranges march up and down and across. You are falling toward what looks to be a great bay, a sprawling city perched on its shore just to the north. Further to the north and east, you see a broad plain scattered with curious structures, visible even from this height. The northeastern portion of this land looks to be a desert, a strange blue dot like an eye in its exact center. It seems to hold a city in its watery grasp. To its west is a ring of huge mountains, surmounted by enormous carved peaks spewing magma into a central catch basin. What concerns you most right now is the bay below you. It's coming at you quickly. It's fruitless. You've reached a velocity that could, without irony, best be named terminal. You spread your arms and legs and try to catch a draft, and it looks like you'll hit the bay that's rushing toward you, unless you hit the building in its littered waters. A strange web of colors surrounds you, thrown by a figure standing on the balcony of the structure, but it is effective only at slowing your fall. You strike the building hard enough to crack its crystalline structure, and you hear one of the engines that supports it protest and howl, and the agony of the crash overcomes you, and then darkness.
Okay, once again, because the sound effects were like atrociously high and the voiceover was like, I could barely hear him, which is why I wasn't really saying too much, because anytime he would stop talking, the sound effects would then just ramp up. But I was sort of sitting there and I had to like press my earphones to my ears because I was just like, what are you saying, my dude? Let's just yank that up even more. Okay, so move. Alright, classic with the mouse. We are really close to this person. That's better.
Ready.
Okay, so metal waves roll over the floor below, sending vibrations through the soles of your boots. Sure,
Yes,
if you insist.
now.
Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, spattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow as if it hungers for that light and needs to be filled, yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons, wasted. I mean, sure, if I can carefully move the bowl, why not? Oh, I've encountered my first task. You have 3 stat pools, might, speed, and intellect. Okay. This is called using effort. What the mess? To more easily move the bowl in front of you, use the mouse to spend might for a higher level of effort. Don't worry if you fail this task. In Torment, failure often results in interesting outcomes. Okay, you carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth of the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over the glowing pool of fallen light. Drop by drop, the bowl fills, ripples spreading over the blurred outline of your reflection. Pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. A clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light. No, there's no need to zoom.
Fine.
Whoa, hey, don't get an attitude with me. Hey, is this supposed to be columnar jointing?
I'm going.
As you touch the orb, a memory floods your mind. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment's respite from this waterlogged hell, a bubble of stale air, your resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves, but this body's an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task. He's a genius with machines, as you well know, but now he seems distracted. The device in his hands is covered in knobs, wires, and antennas. He believes it can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention, but that is hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. This is taking too long. Cast a spell, an esotery, to fix the device yourself. You mumble a few words, drawing power from the air around you until a solution appears in your mind. You snatch the device from his hands, rewire it, and shove it back at him. "Oh," he says, examining your work. "Sorry, I was trying to improve the thing." He waves the device at the door, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond, a passage that links the waterboarded cells and the aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies there. Moments later, you're underwater again, your hands closing around a strange yet familiar artifact. You need it to complete something. It hovers above a pedestal, rotating in the dark water. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical planes of the pedestal, and an iridescent field coalesces so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. The rising pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. Use a device to stop them, one of the ciphers in your belt. You run urgent fingers over the devices fastened to your waist, a fog rising in your mind. A few can be used against the guards, but will also turn your skin to synth steel, or the surrounding water to boiling wax, hardly ideal. Finally, you find a small silver sphere. Setting the sphere in place, you kick desperately for the safety of a nearby alcove. The sphere whirls and unfolds into a spiraling vortex. The sphere at its center speaks a few polite words in an ancient language, then begins draining the surrounding water into itself with alarming speed. The approaching guards shout, then scream as they too are sucked into the whirlpool and ripped to pieces. You allow yourself a fleeting smile, but are all too aware that more alarms are going off in the distance. The memory begins to fade as if you were being drawn backward through a tunnel, and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into the gap in your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else. A gust of sour air pulling at you, like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey at the far end of a dark, whispering field. Interesting. So I wonder how much this is going to have in common with Planescape Torment, because I know this is more of like a spiritual successor and not an actual sequel or continuation of the story. So obviously the memories and being in an unfamiliar body, that sort of is somewhat related.
Let's go.
You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad plateau towering above the overgrowth far below. Strange machines have been built into the cliffside, presumably for reconnaissance or defense. A metallic disc gleams from the center of the plateau. Your self-aware humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliffs below. If you were looking for a sanctuary, and you were desperately, this seems like the right place. "I don't know about this," the woman says, her voice flat, neutral. Her face is turned away from you. "What makes this place any more secure than any other ones we found?" Draw her attention to the hidden details that your more experienced eye can clearly see. You shade your eyes against the bright sun so that you can point out the thin bands radiating out from the metallic disc, how the energy from those bands affects the local fauna, suggesting an enormous source of prior world energy. She thinks deeply. It's geologically sound. Have you run the sounding samples and checked the strata? No major caverns or weaknesses showed up on your resonance scans? She waits for your affirmation and says, "Alright, I'm convinced." The two of you sketched your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend onto the plateau and examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the servitors build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constructs away from its tasks, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems the construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? Look for a deeper solution. Perhaps it's an effect of the metallic disc itself. A mist falls onto the plateau as you wrap a fiber shielding mesh around the construct's skull. The mesh powers up, protecting the construct's mind from any trans-dimensional emissions that might be in the area. Taking a deep breath, you repeat your command. Acknowledged. It obediently trundles to the site of your new shelter. The image freezes, then fades, and you feel the memory filling the gap in your mind, blocked by jagged block. You stagger, clutching your head, reclaiming your memories hurts. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift one by one on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you are doing, and is hunting you. Well, that's fantastic. I'm a fan of being hunted. Oh gosh, it's just going to be memory after memory, isn't it? Oh. Okay. I do kind of like, with this game, there are sound effects as you're going through the memory. That was one thing in Planescape Torment that kind of really took me out of it a little bit, when it would talk about, like, you know, gusts of wind and all this kind of stuff, and yet there just wouldn't be any kind of sound effect to go with it.
Yes.
A vision of a city springs up around you. Your city, in flames and under attack. Her defenders have fought and died all day, and still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety, and you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn towards the door of the tower, two of the attackers descend from a hovering machine, and you don't have time to strike at them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapons a vibrating axe. The other is slim, sheathed in glassy armor, and holding a hilt with a sizzling invisible blade. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemies advance single file, confined by a parapet. Fight defensively and figure out who presents the greater threat. The memory seems crystal clear. The giant is menacing, it's true, but the invisible blade of his companion is more worrisome still. The energy field that flickers and wavers around it suggests that she can carve matter at the molecular level, tearing pieces of her target into nothingness. If you're to save yourself, your best bet is to tackle her first. She's stuck behind the giant, waiting her turn to attack you, unable to bring her weapon to bear until he's out of the way. But it's clear that she expects him to handle you, and her eyes rove behind you. Her focus is on your ward. She's certainly not expecting you to dive between the giant's leg and come up inside her guard. She can't bring her blade to bear in time, and you dive your dagger under her chin. You catch her before her deadly blade drops onto you and spin her around. The weapon slashes into the giant and he topples, bisected. The immediate threat ended. You focus on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into a hall, and you hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. Crack the door open to sneak past them. You press yourself against the gleaming door, easing it open, and your breath catches in your throat as it squeaks quietly, the sound like a bell in your memory. You pause, but the soldiers in the hall continue to talk. You push against it, squeeze yourself through the narrow opening, and creep down the blood-stained hall. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb with the racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memory blaze within you, like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you, as though a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see a frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room.
All right.
Oh, it's me!
Fine.
The border of this mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocked symbols. Daggers, masks, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. But that's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing with, and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid and pull at your attention. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their head. In their eyes, their actions, you see the memories you discovered within the orbs and the choices you made, shining like distant stars. Your hand twitches at your side, and though some of the bright doppelgangers ignore you, an even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room, and a slow vibration spreads from the darkness below, rippling towards the ceiling. Okay, so I'm assuming this is like our class selection or whatever is appropriate for this game. So we've got moving cautiously through the crowd, clever eyes, mystical symbols, observing all the others. None of them really indicate much of anything. I'm going to point at the one with clever eyes. The doppelganger makes its way over to you. It's about to speak when a thuggish figure charges out of the crowd and shakes his knife in the doppelganger's face. Speaking in your voice, the doppelganger raises a calming hand, appealing to the thug's better nature with a combination of disarming wit and outright lies. Scowling, the thug lowers his knife and apologizes to the doppelganger for the trouble. The doppelganger turns to you, waiting for your decision. So this is going to be like a more charismatic, charming person who I'm assuming can talk their way out of trouble, and that's generally how I like to play games, so I might go with this and see how it goes. The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edges of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity steps forward. Its appearance changes as it steps out of the rippling glass. Its face exudes intelligence and confidence. Shadows of several devices shimmer all around it, technology of several kinds from a myriad of past ages. You get the feeling you, would be comfortable with all of it. The word nano sounds in your mind. Your doppelganger continues walking, stepping into you, filling you, making you whole. Your decision rings out into the cavernous room, awaking and unlocking vast mechanisms behind the walls. Suddenly a grotesque noise rings through your shared worlds, like a bell if bells could rot. Something is coming. The mirror fades, leaving a dark, open doorway. You take a deep breath and step through. Okay, so character creation. Your choices and the memories in the mirror have begun to build your character, but now you have the opportunity to decide on a number of details. First, you can decide to change your type. Type defines the abilities and skills you'll be able to acquire as you advance. Okay, so 9 intellect, 5 speed, 5 might. You beaut wahoot. Okay, can I actually do anything, or is this just showing me stuff? Oh wow, nanos are sometimes called mages, wizards, sorcerers, or witches by the people of the Ninth World. Ah, that's hilarious. It's been a long time since I played a mage. Okay, so they're fighters. Ah, yeah, jack of all trades, gotcha. I'm assuming they would be more like your rogue thief kind of peeps. Let's go with it. Let's play a mage. Okay, so stats are the resources. Yeah, you can distribute points as you see fit. Glaives tend to favor might and or speed, while nanos favor intellect from a balanced set of points. Okay. Alright, I've got 2 points remaining. So what does speed do for me? Evasion, health by 1. Okay, let's do that. Okay, abilities unlocked by your type can be active actions or unique passive effects. 2 points remaining, so I can take 2 of these? I mean, that would be neat. Allows you to carry additional ciphers. I don't know what a cipher is at this point. Okay, so that's good for armor class and jank. Negative. Oh, okay, yeah. So heals 6 points. And removes negative fettles, whatever that may be. Teleport 1 ally to a point within range. I mean, that would be pretty neat too. Oh, I want all of these. Let's go for that, because I feel like early on having some kind of healing ability is helpful, and then I would like that too. Oh gosh, far out. So most skills increase your chance of success. Yep. Yep. Starts as novice, trained, specialized. Descriptors often leave skills... Inflict penalties. What? Oh, okay. So I'm a novice at natural law. Machinery, I don't understand. Mystical, for some reason, I also don't understand. Look, that's fine. I don't need to be an engineer, alright? Okay, only glaives receive training in weapons. That's fair. Okay, so perception and stealth. I mean, I think I've already got clever, don't I? Yeah, okay, so -1 training. Far out. -15 willpower, 1 play. So it sort of looks like whatever you choose, you get bonuses and then also some kind of negative, which is fine. I don't quite know if you'd be learned in stuff if... I don't know why your persuasion and deception would be so bad. Yeah, I can go with -2 intimidation. I could go minus with running, I guess. Okay, I think I'm going to stick with observant. I'm not 100% sure how all of this will play out, and when you give me a list of options like this, I always struggle to try to pick the right one. Yes. Everything about this spectral figure seems dreamlike. He is a hazy silhouette who seems to be made of blue glass smoke. He wears stylish, well-cut clothes. His handsome, bearded face seems hauntingly familiar, though you've never seen him before. He breathes a sigh of relief when he sees you. We weren't sure that would work. We pulled our strengths and channeled it through me to reach you, to wake you up. He glances at the other figures here and frowns unhappily. It took more out of them than we thought. The other reflections, they're more like shadows now. Look, I'll bet you've got a lot of questions. This whole place is basically your mind. Your body's still out there in the real world, healing from that fall. You will need to get out there and finish the process. He shrugs. It shouldn't be too hard. Before I met you, it felt like something was haunting me. Do you know what it was? He closes his eyes. That's a memory I don't want to recall. Large, black, furious. It's our death. It's the sorrow. He closes his eyes. I hope it's lost interest in you. If it finds us, we're done for. You said I had to finish the process. What do you mean by that? After you wake up from this dream state and attune to the tides, you'll need to find something called a resonance chamber. Your body should have landed somewhere near it. Just climb inside and everything will be fine. Who are you? He pauses and looks down at himself, considering a long time before answering. I'm you. I'm a part of your mind, a splinter. I was waiting for you here. We called you with the memories of the others who are here. I don't know what happened next. If this place is my mind, why can't I remember any of this, any of you? It's your mind, a construct built to, I don't know, share thoughts? Store your true self? Wait, you know how people say, in the first place? This is definitely the first place of your memory. Well, it was the first place for me anyway. You'd probably know better since it's yours. If you don't remember now, maybe it will come to you later. How do you know all of this, or that you're telling me? He throws his hands up in frustration. I'm just a part of you. I look at you and I know. This place was made for you, for us, and I remember pieces of knowledge that come to me when you ask your questions, but that's all. What do you mean, attuned to the tides? Tides are like a force, like gravity or magnetism or something, except they respond to people's actions and perceptions. Your body, that is, your body in the real world, needs the tides to survive. It's not something you need to worry about. Your body will attune as it wakes up. What's a resonance chamber? I remember pieces about it, but not the whole. It's a crystal sarcophagus. I remember it having 5 mechanical arms around it and a metal ring set in the floor. I think we were aiming for it when we fell. When you opened your eyes in the real world, it should be nearby. Who are those other people? You called them reflections. That's what they are. As I said, it's your mind. You'll find reflections of people you knew, people you met in the real world, and with whom you shared some kind of psychic connection. I don't know why or how, it just happens. So how can I get back to the real world? There's a portal down there. It'll take you back to your body. Just step through it, and the whole tides thing should take care of itself. He crosses his arms. When you wake up, find the resonance chamber and activate it. Then we can... Wait, what in the hell's is that? The sorrow is anchored to those reflections. It's devouring their power. We have to get rid of them. Destroy its anchors or else the sorrow will erase us forever. Crisis initiated? Alright, so a crisis begins when you enter a dangerous situation. Crises are turn-based encounters. Ooh, we're doing turn-based stuff. Okay. Where you can manipulate, sneak, fight, manipulate, or talk your way out of trouble. Each turn you can take one attack action. You can also make one move. Use the mouse to attack an enemy or move to a position. Try clicking the highlighted character now. Effort can be applied to attack to increase your chance to hit. And with other tasks, each level of effort increases your chances by 20% at the cost of 1 point from the stat pool. Unarmed attack use speeds, but other weapons and abilities may use might or intellect instead. You can sacrifice your attack action for the turn to double move instead of attacking. The movement preview line turns purple when over a position that requires a double move. Okay, but do a double move.
I'm ready.
No, don't infect me. So fettles are temporary conditions or status effects that can improve or reduce a character's stats. The sorrow has just placed a fettle on the remaining reflection. You can remove this fettle, but you may find a way to overcome it. Oh, was that on me? I don't know. Okay, so the armor stat reduces, yeah, that's fair. The fettle, the sorrow placed on the character has boosted its armor by 10. Excellent. The reflection's armor is now too high for you to overcome with your unarmed attacks. Well, why didn't you tell me that when I was over by the mirror? Now I'm gonna have to move, pick it up. Okay, to pick up loot, yep. And then take all or double click.
Yes.
To activate an item, left click on the item's icon in the bar above your portrait. I'm choosing. Am I not close enough?
Yes.
Okay, I've already used my attack action this turn, and you will need to wait until your next turn to deal another reflection. You can move somewhere to spend your remaining move, but if you want to end your turn early, you can click the end turn button. You pried it loose. That thing is a cancer, an infection. It's unstoppable, but you stopped it. He holds his head in his hands. I can't believe it found us in here. He looks at you, terror in his eyes. That thing, the sorrow, it's been hunting you. It's what killed you in the first place. It'll keep hunting you until you activate the resonance chamber. I didn't remember until I saw it, but that's why the chamber is so important. You have to get back and activate the chamber before it's too late. The portal to your body is that shimmering dome there. Go, now! I feel like there has to be more to this than meets the eye.